Welcome back, everyone, to another Girl Power Day Zero build. Say hi, Sam. Alright, back down. Today we have everyone's favorite frog, Tsuyu Asui 4. Maybe not the favorite version of the frog, but definitely my favorite. This is very much in line with what I enjoy in a character. So let's get into Tsuyu Asui 4. She is a 5-hand size, 33 health character. She has 1A and Student as her character traits. And she has Chaos, Life, and Water for her symbols. I have chosen to go with a Chaos build. For one important reason or another, I guess. It's been a while since I've looked at this list, so I'm kind of re-familiarizing myself with it. She also has 2 responses, the first of which is after you play a high or low block, it gains Breaker 1. Which means as a 5-hander, with 33 health, we don't mind partial blocking, so we can just Breaker 1 anytime we play a high or a low block, as long as our character is ready. We can just Breaker 1 every attack if we want to, which is nuts. I love it. I absolutely love it, and that's probably the reason she's a 5-hander. But like most 5-handers, she can cheat a little bit. Her second response says once per turn, after you check a ranged or a charge attack, add it to your hand. And if that check was made to play an attack, that attack gets +3 speed. That's huge. That means going second, you could check an attack on your build turn, and then pick that up so you have an attack for your second turn. Really strong, really solid. Or of course, if you check an attack to play an attack, you get 3 speed on your attack, which makes them even harder to deal with. I really like this character. I know a lot of people are more on Asui 3 because Asui 3 draws a lot more cards, adds a little bit of damage, but let's see what Asui 4 can do. Starting off, we have her Camouflage counter. This is her ultra rare. It's a 2-low 4. It's got stun 1. It's both charge and ranged. Every card in this deck, I believe, has the charged keyword. Yeah, every attack in this deck has the charged keyword, so we're mono charges, which makes cards like Sense of Justice scary. But it has a response in our card pool. After another attack deals damage, we get to add this card to the top of our deck, and our next check to play a card gets +1. Really good. We like stacking the top. This is the top card of our deck, because then if we check it, we can pick it back up with Asui. And then it has an Asui response to commit 1 foundation. After this attack resolves, add it to the top of our deck. Our next check to play a card gets +1. So we can play this after it resolves, put it on top, check it, pick it up, play it, and if we play another attack and that attack deals damage, put Camouflage counter on top of our deck again. So that's really cool. I love how this card can just go round and round and round and round. You might have seen this card in my Nejire Hado list for Day Zeros. If not, definitely go back through the Girl Power Day Zero builds and check that out. But yeah, this is a really cool card in her that not only boosts your next check, which is solid, making this a 4 check instead of a 3, which is really cool, especially when you're removing 1 progressive difficulty from your card pool. And it can just gain you more attacks in a turn just by adding itself to the top and then checking it. And yeah, just really, really cool. Then we have Leaping Tongue Lash, and I believe most of these are, yeah, with the one exception, all of these are high or low blocks. We have Leaping Tongue Lash. It's a 4 high 5 that says our next charge or ranged attack gets +2 speed and +2 damage. So that's really strong, especially when you pair it with Rando Spirit Gun. This is why I built this character off of Chaos, because Rando Spirit Gun is a 5 mid 5 with EX2 and Powerful 4. 2 very strong keywords with very good ratings. It is a 2 check, which is tricky, but we're okay with that for a while. It has an enhance that if it has received a speed and a damage bonus, it gets +2 speed and +2 damage. So if you Leaping Tongue Lash into Rando Spirit Gun, this becomes a 9 mid 9. A 12 mid 9 if you checked an attack with Asui and used your once per turn. But, you know, why would you want to use your once per turn if it's that fast already? Because this enhance says we may play once per turn abilities printed on our character a second time during this turn, but we can only play this ability if this card is immediately preceded by an attack or a face down card. So Camouflage Counter into Rando Spirit Gun. Leaping Tongue Lash into Rando Spirit Gun. Mainly this one. This is the really good one, because that's a 4 high 5 into a 9 mid 9. And then we get to play our pick up an attack twice in one turn, which is really solid. So, really cool. It does have that 2 check, but in my opinion, it is earned. Speaking of checks, we have Double Jab Pummel. There's a 3 mid 3, it combos with a charge. The combo enhance says if this attack is blocked, we get to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Either way, our next check to play a card gets +2, which can turn, if this, say, deals damage, then, or if this deals damage because they don't want to block it and give us the draw 2, discard 2, our Camouflage Counter can go to the top of our deck. This gets a +1, so it's a 4, and then gets +2 with Double Jab Pummel, so Camouflage Counter becomes a 6 check. Just by going Camouflage Counter into Double Jab Pummel. So then our rival has to choose, do they want to give us the cards, or do they want to give us 6 check to then play like a Rando Spirit Gun, and then pick up the Camouflage Counter anyway. So a lot of moving pieces in this deck, which can really force your opponent into a tight spot defensively, which I really like. And then as a Deadlock Enhance, our next check to play a card gets +5 for some reason. Solid. Next we have Gigantification Swing. This is a 4 mid 5. It's the Mount Lady secret rare. You can spend a momentum. Your checks to play Charge, Fury, and Slam attacks get +1 for the rest of the turn. So when we're trying to string out and pick up our attacks are now checking 4s instead of 3s, which is really good, except for Rando Spirit Gun, which is checking a 3 at that point, but that's really solid. And then as a response, after you play this card, your rival's next check to play a card gets -2. So on offense, we play this, their next check to block this turn gets -2. We block with this, we could breaker 1, and give their next check to play a card -2. So that's -3 to their next check, and failing will end the combat phase. So something to think about, really strong there. Especially if you can give the +3 speed from Asui to this attack is really, really good. And lastly, for our attacks, we have Blue Flame Immolation. This is a 4 high 5. It's got to enhance that while it's in the card pool, you can use this, as long as it's in your card pool. Lose a health. Your rival checks against a difficulty of 5. So they just basically discard the top card of their deck. If it's a 5 or greater, they pass. They are allowed to commit foundations to pass this check. But if they fail, this attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage. So that's the parallel damage and speed for Rando Spirit Gun. So make it a 6 mid 6, then it gets 2/2 for an 8 mid 8. On top of maybe the 2 mid 2 +2 here to make it a 10 mid 10. This is a good way to rip good checks off the top of your rival's deck. And we have 33 health, so we can afford to pay this. Plus, we can just give stats, maybe. If they check a 3, it's like, well, you don't want to commit 2, because I'm coming in for, set 4+, 5+ speed. So, we're just going to randomly get 1/1. That's pretty good. And as a deadlock response, also in your card pool, anytime you lose health to pay a cost, your rival loses 1 health. So if our rival's in deadlock, this says we lose a health to make them check and maybe get 1/1, but also they lose a health. Really scary, especially when we are going to be outpacing most of the people in the health race. But that is our attack lineup. If I had to guess, I'd probably say maybe this could be one of those weird 5-handers where you could afford to play more attacks. Because if you check it, you can just pick it back up. So any way to stack the cards on top of your deck is really good, which I don't think these symbols have much of. But the ability to just pick up an attack after you check it, and mind you, this doesn't just say your turn, it's once per turn. So if you check an attack when playing a block, you can pick that attack back up. So really good. And it doesn't say that you have to pass the block either. So you can just check, go to play a block, check your attack. Well, that's going to fail, but I'm going to pick this attack up. And then maybe be able to breaker you on your next one. And your rival really has to focus then. Do they really want to throw another attack and get breakered? Or do they want to leave you going into your turn with that attack in hand, knowing you can pick up more attacks and give that attack speed? So this frog really gives you a lot of mind games you can play with your opponent, and I really like that. So into our foundations, we have Sweet Satisfaction. This came in clutch for me a couple times in the pre-release, after using Deflect on my rival's turn a couple times. But it has Response Commit. After you play a keyword ability, draw 1 card, and if it's your rival's turn, gain 1 health. So when we're losing health from Blue Flame Torment, or Blue Flame Immolation, or if we're losing health because we're partial blocking a bunch, anytime we block with anything other than Rando Spirit Gun, we're probably going to be losing health if it's like a mid, but then we can gain a health back after we use that breaker that we give our blocks. We have Exam Strategy. This is a 3 difficulty foundation. It's got Deflect 2, so in your hand you can add it to your card pool after the block step of an attack to give that attack -2 damage, so that's really cool. And then Enhanced Destroy, your attack gets 1 speed and 1 damage for each attack in your card pool. So if we string out, we can give this maybe +3/+3. That's pretty good. That's kind of where you want to be, especially if you've drawn another attack. But also, Rando Spirit Gun, it's that even speed and damage, so you can get even more speed and damage from that. So basically just really turning Rando's Spirit Gun into your kill condition card. We have Sadistic Jeer. We can flip this as an enhance. Our rival checks against a 5. If they fail, we get to add the top card of our deck to our momentum. We use momentum for Gigantification Swing, and Rando's Spirit Guns, EX and Powerful. And maybe we have some momentum uses in our foundations. Let's see. And we can destroy this as an enhance. If our rival has 8 or more foundations, this attack gets +2 speed and +2 damage. So again, really leaning to that Rando Spirit Gun. It's good to put damage on Double Jab Pummel, so our rival wants to block it, so that we can filter our hand more. Or we can just make sure something like Camouflage Counter deals damage, or any of these deal damage if we've already got Camouflage Counter in our card pool. We have Childlike Appearance, which as an enhance can destroy itself. We spend a momentum, reduce this attack speed to 0. If it's blocked, selectively commit 1 rival foundation. So we want to make sure that we're blocking and breakering, so this way we can block, breaker, and selectively commit a rival foundation, making it even harder for them to pass more turns, more checks. So that's really, really solid defensive piece. We also have Protecting Yukina. When we block with this card, we can spend a momentum, and that attack will deal no damage. Even if it's a throw, even if it's a partial block, that +1 mid-block coming in clutch, dealing us no damage just by spending momentum. And as an enhance, we can destroy it if it's in our stage to get the top card of our deck to our momentum. We have Fiery Confrontation. Response flip. After your rival makes a check to play an attack or action, that check gets -1. Failing the check will not end the combat phase. So if your rival checks kind of poorly on their first attack, this is a good way to get them to try to commit more foundations, because you don't want to stack this with a breaker, because breaker can force them to fail their combat phase. This says failing the check will not end the combat phase. So either way, or if your rival's playing an action like a runaway, or some of these more difficult actions, you can try to mess them up on that. We have Creeped Out. We can commit this, and our check to block this attack gets +2. So really good for long block strings, especially if we're breakering. And if our rival tries to breaker us back, we can flip this as a response to give it -1 to its breaker rating. So we get to breaker, you don't get to breaker. Then we have Incredible Display. We can commit and spend a momentum. After our rival plays a non-character response, we can cancel it. So again, using our momentum more defensively. Or we can response commit after we block with a foundation, add it back to our hand. So block with a high or low block foundation, breaker 1, put it back on our hand. Our rival now knows we have another breaker in our hand. So really dangerous, really spooky there, really cool. Speaking of low blocks, we have Nice Try. This is a really solid foundation. We committed on our turn to pass our checks. It readies at the start of our rival's combat phase. And then as an enhance, we can commit for -2 speed. So really solid. Then we have Nedre-chan of the Big Three. We can destroy a foundation to give an attack +1 damage, and if it's blocked, we gain a health. So this works to give our attacks damage, keep us out of deadlock, and gain a little bit of health if our rival doesn't want to take damage or as much damage from our attacks. We can also give our rivals attack damage and then fully block it to breaker 1 hopefully and gain health in the process. So that's really, really cool. We have basic training. This is just a way to stack a little bit more damage on a spam, just +1 damage once per turn. And then in deadlock, as a response, you can give every attack you play +1 speed even while this card is committed. So that's really, really solid. Easily excited. This is once per turn. Your attack is +1 speed and taunt. We don't care about taunt, but we do care about +1 speed and that +2 high block there. We have Award the Victor. This works really well with cards like Camouflage Counter, but not Camouflage Counter. This turns basically every other attack you have into Camouflage Counter. After your attack deals damage, you add it to the top of your deck. Your next check gets +2. So you play Leaping Tongue Lash. Add it to the top of your deck. If it deals damage, your next check is +2. Play Gigantification Swing. Check this, your Leaping Tongue Lash becomes a 5 check, so your Gigantification Swing passes. Asui picks it up, and Gigantification Swing gets +3 speed. And then you can give your rivals check to block at -2, and you can spend momentum to give your checks to play cards for the rest of the turn +1. Or, really fun, you can, if you have multiple momentum, play Gigantification Swing, spend a momentum. If your rival doesn't block this because they fail thanks to the -2, put this on top with Award the Victor, check for a Camouflage Counter or something of the like, check the Gigantification Swing, pick it up, your current attack is +3 speed, play another Gigantification Swing on a 6, but your check gets +1 for the rest of the turn, so maybe check a 5 and that's your 6, spend another momentum, and then you get another instance of the response your rival's next check to play a card gets -2. Really solid card there. So Award the Victor, chef's kiss. We have Teacher's Guidance. You can flip this as an enhance. This was tripping up a lot of people in our pre-release. It is an enhance that if you've taken damage this turn, flip this, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. We kept thinking it was response flip when you take damage, gain a momentum. So we had to keep reminding ourselves that it is in fact an enhance. Then we have Chivalrous Competitor. This is just a way for both players to draw a card. It's a low block. As a 5-hander, we want to draw more cards. And it can help protect your other cards from being destroyed or flipped due to your rival's non-character effect. And lastly, Struggling with Studies. This also protects from other cards being flipped. But also, if your rival plays their 3rd or greater attack, you can pick up one of your funny breaker blocks and breaker block with it again. So, really powerful defensive card right there. And that is Tsuyu Asui 4. I am really excited to build this frog. I'm going to annoy people. I love this card. I love the way it forces your rival to think what they have to do to try to push through your breaker defenses, but also when you're constantly moving your attack pieces around, they have to keep track of what you've got, what you've played, where your cards are, and it's kind of this, 3-card Monty game that you get to play, where it's like, all right, find the attack, where's the attack, where's the queen, oh, and you're dead, and that could be really fun. So, I'm really excited for this character. I know a lot of people are still high on Asui 4, or 3, I should say, but I want to see this frog do well. I'm going to try to make this frog do well. Let me know what you guys think. If you liked the deck, please like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. We're almost done. We've just got 4 more, 3 reprint characters, and then the woman? Yeah, so 4 more characters left. We're in the end game now, folks. So until next time, take care.